there's different communities that service and brokers in different communities that service that community. We have such a diversity in New York City per se.
Hmm.
Population is huge, so on and so forth.
Yeah, most major cities in the in North America, of course, because here in Toronto is the same thing.
Yeah.
They have a huge South Asian community,
Mm-hmm.
and also a Mandarin community, and then they are serviced by their own people who
Exactly.
understand the culture, the language,
Mm-hmm.
everything. So
Exactly.
they'll be able to expound on a lot of the information that is needed for them,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
to have a smooth transition during the sales
During the
process.
same.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's what makes that broker business now a common thing across the board now. A lot of people, when they hear broker, they think that, oh, this guy is going to make more money on top of what the dealer is going to charge me
Charge them,
for the
yeah.
car. No, that's not what it is. We get the car at like a wholesale.
Mm.
Yeah. So the wholesale on the car is only presented to that broker. It's only
Okay.
here, broker. That's your cost on the car. Now you could do and market, but we can't go over that MSRP that the manufacturer suggested,
So,
right?
but what the next question is, what are the pros and cons with dealing with you and the dealership itself? I know you just explained some of it, but
Yeah,
just in a nutshell, just give me the three important things that people can look out for.
three most important. I would say convenience would be one,
Mm-hmm.
right? Convenience, and that's packed in a lot of things, right? Cost effective, or maybe I put it to cost effective, right? Time and efficiency, in a sense, right? One, convenience. For example, you as a consumer, you're looking for this particular car, and I'm going to
Yeah.
use, let's say, Mercedes, doesn't matter. Mercedes dealer that you're going to go to is nearby you, lives in, it's a dealership that's not far from where you reside, right?
Yeah.
Your desire is a black Mercedes GLS. It needs to have red interior
Mm-hmm.
because when online shopping, you went to Mercedes direct website, you tried to build one,
Yeah.
you like how it came out, it was black with red, and that's exactly what you
Well,
want.
yeah.
Now you go to your local Mercedes store, that local Mercedes dealership doesn't have one in stock,
Mm-hmm.
right?
But they can order it for you.
They could order it for you. Now, the order time for that car to come in is another thing,
Yeah.
right?
At least 3 months.
There you go. And we're not even talking about after this pandemic thing. We're talking about before the pandemic.
Pandemic, yeah, correct.
You
Yeah,
understand?
it's
It could have
absolutely
been
crazy right now. Yeah.
3 months. Yeah, and we're going to talk about that too. But you go into that Mercedes dealership and you want to get that black with the red interior GLS, they're going to tell you it's 3-6 months prior to pandemic. Now,
Yeah.
the broker, how the broker works, again, we have a network of Mercedes dealerships. Beyond the Mercedes dealership having access to also these other dealerships that they could actually do swaps, because there's a thing in the industry called a swap, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So that Mercedes dealership could actually, they go to their system and they could actually see this black Mercedes with the red interior, and it's over in, I don't know, Mexico or Tennessee, whatever,
Yeah.
it's over there somewhere. They will request a swap from that dealership.
Okay.
It doesn't necessarily mean that they will get the
Get it.
swap.
Right,
You understand?
I didn't
A
know
lot of times,
dealers could actually do that. No, I mean,
yeah,
yeah.
the dealers are not into that market of doing that now because there's no cars available. I can tell you.
Yeah, when the times were good, they could have, yeah.
Yeah, they could have. Even then, when they could have, a lot of them will not swap it unless it was either an even swap or they were getting something extra for it.
Extra. Okay.
You
Okay.
understand what I'm saying?
It's always about negotiations.
Exactly. So even though they have it at their disposal to actually do the swap, it might be, hey, Tennessee dealer doesn't want to do the swap to this dealer, for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
They're not binding to it. They don't have to do it. It's not like the manufacturer is saying, I'm going to break your hand if you don't swap the car to him. They could, on their discretion, they could decide what they want to swap.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's on that dealer that's asking for the swap to want to accept what they want to swap it for. Whether it's just a fair swap, even here's X money for the car, give me the car. That's it. You know, it's different ways they do it. Anyway, what the broker does, and again, the broker has a network of dealerships, right? Along and inside that network of dealership, we have access to those cars.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of you going into that dealership now, you left out after work, right? You're rushing after work, 6 o'clock. You got to catch a dealership before 7.
Yeah.
Get into the dealership by 7. The manager that does the actual swap, he's not there that time.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're in there, you're frustrated a little sense because
Yeah.
you don't have the black one or the red, but your salesperson now is telling you, hey, I might have it. And if the salesperson has access to the system, he might see it, but he can't do anything because the sales manager is the one that comes in the morning.
Comes in under, yeah. Has authorization to do it.
Yeah, exactly. So now you leave to go to work the next day, and during your work day, you're calling every second. Hey, anything on that swap or whatever it be?
Mm-hmm.
The salesperson probably don't even have time for you to right now because as far as they're concerned, they're trying to do a deal now.
Yeah.
You know, your swap, it might be a little bit of exercise for them right now because when you're calling him, he's like, yeah, I'm going to work on it for you. And he, he's reaching out to Tom, who is the manager every minute. And Tom has 100 things going on right now. So it's one of those things that is not important to him right now. Mm-hmm. Right?
How would you, trying to alleviate that otherwise and say, look, the industry is perfectly safe. Not everybody is the same. But we'll do our best and try at least to put a smile on your face and let you feel satisfied with your purchase, and you can actually trust us.
Exactly.
And our trust others as well. But what would you say to something like that?
So beyond some of the basics, right? For example, like I said, you want to do your part. If you're saying that you're buying this car from this dealership, you can do a Carfax. It's not wrong.
Do your due diligence. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you if you want to come with somebody that actually knows about cars, that's not going to be a person that's going to be pessimistic about the whole thing and trying to deter you all day about the car, then it's an honest person that could come in and make say, hey, I noticed maybe a tire here that's worn down. Is it beyond or below that 430 seconds required by law? Then that's reasonable. We could say, all right, well, the tire is worn, we need to replace the tires, right? Mm-hmm. But you need somebody that will be with you that's going to be honest at the same time. So one of the steps that
to interject, but that's the point, why do you need to bring someone with you if you're walking into something that you should be comfortable without needing the assistance of somebody else?
This is where the integrity comes in, and not all dealerships are going to fall and do the right thing, right? Not all dealerships.
Goes right back to the point why the word dealership is there.
Not all dealerships are going to do the right thing. This is why I advise for them to actually walk with somebody to come in. See, me personally, I have no problem with a customer bringing somebody with them to say, hey, let's look over the car. And I'll walk over the car with them. I'm not going to cover anything up or whatever it be. You know what I'm saying? This is one of the reasons I'm making this example.
Yeah.
Hey, come, take a look at the car. What is it you're pointing out and whatever? Okay, great. No problem. I'll look into that. If it's something that we need to change, by standard, I'll tell you what. In New York, for example, we're binded in a sense, right? Because operating in New York, to have that license and keep that license good, renew it every year and so on and so forth, and especially paying that surety bond, because surety bond is a big money, right? We have to abide by a lot of the rules that the DMV set, right? And one of them is there are strict rules when it comes to the emissions, the condition of the car, right? And I only condition is limited to what I'm going to talk about. In New York State, the dealer, those tires, like for example, right? The tread depth, and you're familiar with tread depth on the tire, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tread depth minimum on the car cannot be no lower than 430 seconds.
Okay.
Right? Tread depth gauge. When you put it in that between those grooves in that gauge should not read no less than 430 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
The real rule of thumb is somewhere like about 6 or 7 30 seconds for it to say.
But will the average Joe knows that?
Well, the average Joe won't know that. But here's the thing. A dealership like our dealership, when we get that car, whether we buy the car off lease, the car came in on trade, we bought the car at the auction, we do a inspection on the car. A lot of times we'll buy the car, the tires are no good. We'll replace the tires. Oil change, we'll make sure we do an oil change on the car before the car goes out, right?
Yeah.
Air filters, cabin air filter, that's a very important thing too. But we do our part in making sure that car is at the standard that meets what the requirements are of the New York State regulations, right?
Yeah.
Call it payment shock in the industry. Because he wanted that car so bad, he was willing to pay more money for that car.
Yeah.
He's willing to pay more money.
Especially if he's been waiting for more than a year.
Exactly. So he's willing to pay more money for the car. So now what happens in 2020, late 2020, early 2021?
Yeah.
They bought those cars and they paid the premiums for those cars. So now, almost a year later, a little over a year, you could see what's going on now. The ones that were paying that, they realized that the pandemic checks that they were getting, the unemployment money that they were getting, the everything else money that we're getting that started cutting away. They cannot afford to pay for those cars now. So now that's where the repossession starts coming in.